Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much. So, friends told me that speaking in this debate was a bit like walking into the lion's den, but I always preferred debating lions than sheep anyway, so it's lovely to be here, and I'm really grateful for the chance to talk to you. The only thing I will say, Freddie, is I don't take orders from Nazis, so just be respectful with me, please. It's true. It's fair. I hope this is coming off my time. So tonight I wanted to take you to Croydon South, where I've been spending most of my election. It's where I live, and there's a 12,000 Conservative majority there. It has never, ever been Labour. And when you canvass there, it's got rolling green hills, and you need to often hike up to the front doors. And for 14 years, the people in that constituency, as they have been up and down the country, have been struggling and fighting to make ends meet. They have been working hard, abiding by the rules, caring for their family, and gave huge sacrifices through COVID. And whilst they struggled, their Conservative government, who should have been helping them, presided over chaotic, narcissistic, divisive, and incompetent mess. 5 prime ministers, 7 chancellors in 10 years, disgustingly wasteful contracts on PPE, Partygate, and of course, most recently, the betting scandal. Those voters in Croydon South do not forgive, and they don't forget. I remember last week I met a single mum on the doorstep. She's really trying to hold down a job and looking after a disabled son. And her mortgage was up for renewal just after Liz Truss announced her budget. And to this day, she is spending hundreds of pounds more a month on her mortgage, completely unnecessarily. That mum has voted Conservative her whole life. She will now be voting Labour. However, although everyone agrees on the doors it's time for change, not everyone is convinced that Labour is the one to bring it. So I thought I'd share with you what I often share with people on the doorstep. We try and listen rather than preach. We ask, what matters to you? What do you care about? And they talk to us about the cost of living, about public services, about crime and immigration. And I get to point at the leaflet and go, look, that's right, those things are all here. You know, we absolutely are going to be doing that. Like, our first step as a priority is to get economic stability. We want to set up Great British Energy to cut your bills. We want to reduce NHS waiting lists by imposing or getting rid of the tax breaks on non-doms. We want to create a strong new border force, bring in 6,500 new teachers, tackle antisocial behaviour. And I'm sure we're going to get into a lot more policy detail tonight. But in my experience, when you're with undecided voters, and actually if we're honest with all of us, it's less about the words you say and the policies that you outline, and it is more about the trust in them. And the undecideds ask me on the doorstep a lot, how can I believe in you when I have been let down for so many years? And the first thing I say when I'm on the doors is I say, well, look, I've got a 1-year-old baby at home and I've got a full-time job, so I'm not volunteering lightly. I'm not volunteering for something that doesn't actually make a difference. But more deeply, I do point to Labour's record. The minimum wage, gay rights, the creation of the NHS, national parks, NATO, those things were not luck. Those came about because people voted Labour and the party kept its promises to those people. And to me also, it is about the values and traditions of a party that believes in something beyond the individual, about compassion and contribution and solidarity and service. A party that was born in the 1800s out of a coalition of unions and churches and cooperatives and mutuals that helped rebuild this country after World War II so that it served all people rather than a rich minority. A party that picked this country up again from the economic fallout of the 1980s and gave people faith in it again. And to be fair, if I was going on this long on the doorstep, I definitely would have lost a lot of people. But I do want to make one more point before I finish. Some people are suspicious of what is known as the centre ground. You're more likely to hear those concerns in political circles than on the doorstep, but you do hear them. People say you're pandering to the right, or you're colluding with the left, you're watering down your ambitions, you're making grubby compromises to get to power. But I don't see it that way. I think instead there is something really good and important about working to build a broad base of support across the country, across all geographies and classes and ages and races, or in my hometown, a set of policies that speaks to Croydon South as well as Croydon North, especially in a world that suffers from increasingly dangerous divides. So why vote Labour? For change, for decency, for competence, and for the common good. Many other people are voting Labour for the first time in Croydon South. I hope that you can put your faith in our party as well. Thank you.